Good afternoon. I'm Cameron Booth, the Art Exhibits and Programs Coordinator at the Children's Museum of Richmond, and today I have a very exciting art project for you to complete at home. We're going to get to play with our food, and we are going to be making amazing sweet potato prints. That's right, we're using a potato to make art with. Now, this project was sent to us by Mrs. Hartline, the elementary school teacher at Chimborazo Elementary. And I know all of you art teachers and teachers in general are working very hard to create amazing content for your students. And I wanted to highlight this amazing project. So, for your sweet potato prints, which I will show you some really cool ones I have here. These are ones that I made last night. Very cool. Check out all those colors. And then Mrs. Hartline actually sent me one of her own amazing original prints to show all of you boys and girls today. So this is her print that she created at home for her students to see. So you're gonna get to make something just like this today. All right, now for this activity, you're gonna need a couple things. First, you're going to need an adult to watch and help you because they're gonna need to help you create something first that you shouldn't be doing by yourself. So you'll need that adult supervision. You'll need sweet potatoes. You'll need some scissors. You will need some thick paper so you could create your sweet potato prints on. This is just white cardstock. You will need your paint for printing and a plate to put all of your paint on so we don't make a mess. Speaking of messes, you can see that I put down a piece of paper. You can put newspaper down on your work surface so you don't make a mess. It's very important. Art's all about making messes, but let's keep it contained. You will also need paint brushes to apply your paint with. Some napkins, just in case we make a mess, which is totally okay. And then some general kitchen utensils. I have a spoon, a plastic fork, a regular fork, a butter knife, safe for you to use, a metal straw, let's save the turtles, a swizzle stick, and some measuring teaspoons. I will show you what these are used for later. All right, and then also as an option for printing, I also am gonna show you something cool that you could do with bubble wrap and cardboard. This is just part of a box that I got in the mail. So the first step of making your sweet potato prints is you are going to use your adult supervision, and your adult will take a cutting board, one of your sweet potatoes. I think I'm gonna use this guy. He looks kind of strange, almost like a bird, right? And they are going to use a sharp knife, which is why you need that adult supervision, to cut your sweet potato. You could have them cut it in whatever shapes you want, all right? You can have them cut it in circles. I'm gonna take a couple medallions. Just like that, and put it in my bowl. Maybe they cut a medallion and then they take a few sides off of it and make a square. All right. You could also use these scraps too to use to print with. I'll show you what we could use those for today. So have your adult cut your sweet potato in a bunch of different shapes. Now you are going to get to make your own unique characteristics on these sweet potato pieces in a little bit. All right. So once you have all of your sweet potatoes, like I do right here, you're going to put away all of this stuff because we don't need any of that. And you are going to take your white paper. This is where the fun begins. I have my white paper. I have my paints. You could use any type of paint that you want. I'm using acrylic paint today because this is going to stay put. If it gets wet, it won't get messed up. And it's a little bit more opaque, which means it's thicker. So you're not gonna be able to see through it. And this is just cheap paint you might find in an art set at home. You don't have to get anything fancy. Or you could also use tempera paint, which is washable. All right, so I'm gonna put that over to the side. I'm going to take my paintbrushes right here. All right, and the first thing that I'm going to show you is what I did with my cardboard and my Bubble wrap. So I have my bubble wrap and I have my cardboard. Now, I took my bubble wrap and I just cut it down into smaller pieces that kind of fit right on top of my paper. So it's not too big, it's not too small, and it won't make too much of a mess. I'm able to handle it. And I also took my cardboard, and you can see that this is corrugated cardboard, and I peeled off the layer of flat cardboard on top. This is really easy to do. All you do is you go over to the side and you peel it away. It might take a couple minutes, it might take some patience, but we got nothing but time, all right? And after a few minutes of peeling and revealing those ridges, you'll get a really cool effect just like this. And that's what you want to see right there. All right, so I have my bubble wrap and my cardboard, and I'm going to lay out my first layer of colors, kind of like a background color. And I will let's use green. Green's a really bright color. And I have my plate to put my paint on. So I'm gonna put a little bit down, just like that. And we'll take one of my paintbrushes. Let's use a big paintbrush. And I'll take some, and I'll just brush it all over my bubble wrap. Now, our bubble wrap has a relief on it. Bubble wrap is bumpy, and of course you might want to pop some of your bubble wrap, totally okay. Might be able to make a cool design in your bubble wrap. But this is a relief, it's raised up. And after applying some paint onto it, you don't need a whole lot. Don't worry about saturating it. You could lay it right on top of your piece of paper and smush it down. Now, are you ready to see the magic of printing? So we'll gently peel this away. Oh, you have all of those really cool little dots. This is gonna recreate a really cool background for you to put your sweet potato print on top of. This is one way that I remixed Mrs. Hartline's project. She just did her sweet potato print, but I will say she did an awesome job and made her own paper. All right, so this is hers, and this is the start of mine. Mrs. Hartline is totally inspiring. Now, with the cardboard that you peeled away that top layer on, I'm going to take another layer of paint. Since we did green, let's do yellow. Let's do another light color. Oops. Put a little bit more on your plate. You'll be able to reuse this. So if you have a green brush, let's put it over to the side. I don't like mixing my brush colors. Sometimes they get a little bit muddy. And we'll take another big paintbrush, we'll take this guy. And you just want to, again, take a small layer of paint and brush it on top of your cardboard. Again, you don't need a whole lot, but you want to work quickly because your cardboard might absorb some of this paint. And again, we're creating the background of our sweet potato print right now. All right, we're gonna push down our corrugated cardboard right on top of our piece of white paper. Make sure you get it all touching. All right, and let's do the grand reveal. Let's peel it out. Ooh, and look at that. Then we have these really cool lines. You could repeat this process as many times as you like. Now, we're going to go to the sweet potatoes next, but you have to be a little bit patient. Let this dry a little bit so you can wave it around. Maybe if it's a nice day outside, you could put it outside somewhere in the sunlight for it to dry. I, however, already have some things made. So you'd see that I did the bubble wrap thing on this. I faded and mixed my paints on this piece of paper. And I also recycled a piece of cardstock and made a little almost postcard size print. So again, these are going to be all of our background images for our sweet potato prints. Now, before we start to just print our sweet potatoes, we want to change the surface of our sweet potatoes, creating a cool relief. So you're going to take your bowl of sweet potatoes. You will take your various kitchen utensils, whatever you would like to use. Let's start by using, I'm gonna start by using the butter knife and our metal straw. All right. And we'll take one of we'll take this cool like rectangle piece of potato, and I'm just going to poke some holes into our sweet potato. Now, you saw what we did with our bubble wrap, and you saw what we did with our corrugated cardboard, and we are going to do the same exact process with our sweet potatoes after we change up the surface. We want to have that relief. All right, think of creative ways that you could change the surface. Do a couple more dots here. This is looking really cool. All right, so I have a holy sweet potato right here. We'll put that to the side. We'll be using that in a little bit. I'm now going to take my butter knife. We're not gonna use a sharp knife. We wanna use a butter knife so we don't hurt ourselves. And I'll take another strange shaped sweet potato. I will use the edge of my butter knife and cut some lines into our sweet potato. Popping out that piece, put it right over to the side. I'll do one more line. All right, so we have these really cool lines created in our sweet potato right here. So we have dots, we have lines, and let me do one more. Let me do a round piece. This is a medallion that we cut out, and why don't we take our spoon, and you could also just scrape into the sweet potato. Just like you're eating an icy. Put it right over to the side. You can use that side of the spoon, or you could even use the end of the spoon and twist it around, make a little dot. Experiment with different things you might find in your kitchen. Maybe you could use something you find outside, like a rock or a stick. All right. So we have some cool shapes right here. And then I'm also going to use some of our scraps. So I have a triangular scrap, and we will be printing these 4 sweet potatoes. Our medallion, our wedge, our square, and a piece of scrap. All right, you will take your piece of paper that has dried since you printed your first layer onto it, and we'll do a couple at one time. You'll bring back over your paint plate along with the rest of your colors. I have lots of colors here. And you will start to print. Now again, pick your desired color. Put some on your paint tray. I'm gonna get a couple colors going here. So we have purple. We have blue, a cool color. And we have red, a warm color. Those contrasting colors. And I'm also going to put some black down. You don't need a whole lot of paint, all right? If you run out, you could always add more, but we don't want to waste anything. And you'll take a paintbrush and you will pick out your first potato. I'm really excited about the holy potatoes. I'm gonna use the holy potato. And how about we use some purple? We'll dip our paintbrush in purple and we'll gently apply our first layer of paint. You could dab it on, you could brush it on. Sometimes dabbing it works at first. You don't want to have too much on there, okay? If you have too much, you might slide around on your paper, or you might not get the detail you want from your relief sweet potato. So we're gonna take our sweet potato here and we are going to print our first print. You can put it wherever you would like, and you're going to press it down as hard as you can. Now you don't want to slide it, you want to keep it in one spot. And after it's there, you're going to gently peel it up. And that will create that image of the sweet potato. Isn't that awesome? So you're now making your sweet potato print. And you want to continue this process. So I'm going to use the purple one again on my smaller piece of paper here. Again, just add a little bit more paint. and press it down again. All right, that's looking awesome. Now, don't throw away this piece of sweet potato. If you love the image that it's making, take one of your paper towels, fold it like this, and you can brush off the paint, put it aside, and use it with another color. And these sweet potatoes will stay good for a while, don't worry. You have plenty of time to do this. Let's take our wedged piece, get a fresh paintbrush, and this time we'll use some red. How about that? All right, I'm gonna dab it on. There's still plenty of paint on my tray. I can make 10 of these prints on pieces of paper. Bring back over our large sheet. Find a nice spot that you want to print your potato and push it down. Make sure you press it down everywhere. You can even flip it over and rub the other side. All right, let's pick it up and see what we have. Ooh, check that out, all those cool lines. So here's the piece of scrap that I just kept from cutting out one of these cooler shapes. It's a triangle. Again, I'll get a new paintbrush. Let's use blue this time. Paint, paint, paint. Now, one of the big things about printing is if you want to overlap something, I highly suggest you wait until that first layer is dry. Just like we did with our background with the bubble wrap and the cardboard, we want to wait till it dries so it doesn't become muddy and you can see all of those cool colors and the layers that they appear in. All right, so I'll take my blue, push it down, lift it up. Very cool, almost like a pizza slice. I'm gonna do a couple more of those because I really like the way they turned out. Again, push it down, pick it up, you got another one. Now, let's see what happens when I don't apply the paint back to it. Push it down. Look at it, it's still made a really good print. So you could stamp it down a couple more times. So you're gonna continue to repeat this process as many times as you would like. On my examples here, you could see that I probably did about 3 different layers waiting for that paint to dry. Maybe takes about 10 to 15 minutes for that paint to dry. And create these however you would like, right? As many as you would like. This project is so creative and it just uses sweet potato and paint and a couple of things you find in your kitchen at home. I hope you've enjoyed this art activity that Mrs. Hartline at Chimborazo Elementary inspired. Keep an eye out for other activities brought to you by the Children's Museum of Richmond, and I hope to see all of your smiling faces soon. Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Bye.